Welcome back to Smashing Hits Podcast. This is episode 41. My name is Zach, and as always, I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
That's me.
My best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? We're coming live from Zach and Hannah's Playroom on the Instagram.
Playroom?
Is that not what this is?
Absolutely not.
Hey, why?
Oh, your toys are gone.
Jake, you said Zake and Hannah's.
I don't know what you said. Playroom is just
Did
wrong.
I say Zake?
You said Zake and Hannah's Playroom.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
But if you're listening now, you're missing it because we're live on Instagram right now. We're going to be going live on Instagram before we start recording every episode. And then we typically cut it out before we get into tonight's episode recap. But up top, we like to join everyone on Instagram, take some questions, just have people kind of see what we do before we get recording.
Real quick, Wesley said, thank you for the y'all kill it comment. He said he'll download in the morning. I would like to request a play-by-play. We haven't gotten one in a while. So if we could get a play-by-play from Wesley, that would be great.
Also, CC me in that text.
Oh, yeah.
I like to read it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to give us play-by-plays. But, again, we're live, and you should...
Be live.
You should be with us live. We put it up on our Twitter, and then we go live on Instagram, so you should see that. If you do not follow us, at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram, same on Facebook, whatever. If you want all of those things in a convenient location, you can go to www.smashingheadspodcast.com because we have a website now, and all of our social media links are right there, as well as iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all that type of stuff.
We're official.
I would like to also state that while we are very much live on Instagram, we're also alive, much in the same vein as Mama Kim.
Yeah, she's not dead. We solved that murder during our Ruins recap, which if you haven't listened to, it was fun to do. So go back and listen to those.
That murder only lasted 30 seconds.
It lasted at least a good 3 or 4 minutes before we could confirm that what's happened. Someone just gave us a ton of hearts on Instagram. I don't know who that was.
You know what?
Cool beans.
We'll give them right back.
Yeah, so one other quick thing. If we launched this last week, we talked about it really quick last week. We have a Patreon now. We talked about it a little bit on the Instagram Live before we started recording, but if you want to check it out, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast, or you can just go to our website, like I quoted earlier. Click right there, has a Patreon page. From there, you can check out, there's 3 different tiers. We tried to make it to where anyone can join and be a part of the Patreon crew at any different level, and so the tiers kind of scale the more you kind of put behind the show, but we wouldn't be here without you guys. So, again, check that out, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast, because it keeps this show going, because we've been paying out of pocket for this for 9 months now.
Yeah.
So even $1, it helps a lot, and we appreciate everything that comes in there. And you get shout-outs at the end of the episodes.
Well, and we've committed from the beginning, right? We're going to give you our hearts. And that has been our commitment from the start, and it's going to continue to be until
we're dead.
Until we're dead.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Until I'm dead. We'll go until I'm dead. That's
okay.
what it'll do.
You are the oldest.
I am the oldest. Statistically, probably more likely to die before you both. Well, we'll see.
Well, okay. Now, we have established a long time ago that you and I are going to go at the same time.
A long time ago.
So that we don't have to live without each other.
Who rhymed? I might have rhymed. I don't know.
I appreciate being called so fancy by Lars. Elizabeth.
By the way, other quick news. If you are not around or whatever, you didn't pay attention on social media or some other things, Frank Sweeney will be coming on the show in the next couple weeks. If you have questions for Frank, send them to us. Real quick, I'm going to answer you on Instagram. We use DirecTV to watch the show on. But other than that, Frank's coming on. Real excited about it. He hasn't been on the show.
Who you also like to refer to as Handsome Frank.
He's a very handsome man.
He's got such a good taste in clothing.
He
just dresses so nice.
I think I'd be friends with Frank if he'd let me. Yeah, Frank's great. So he's gonna come on. We haven't seen him in a while. I think he's been busy with school, but we're really excited about that. Also, we have a big. Well, I had to pause because I was trying to read something. We kind of hinted at it last week. Polly's coming on the show.
Well, we hinted at it, and then he got on Instagram and was like, hey, these guys asked me to come on, and we're like, no, we didn't.
Well, I
sure didn't.
I don't want to disparage him because I've done that enough already.
That is very much his guy crush, Nina.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But Polly did reach out to us and was like, hey, I want to come on and argue with the married couple, and he CC'd Wes in it. And Wes was like, oh, looks like you gained a new rival and Jake gained a new ally.
That's right.
And then I just said right back, I didn't even reply. I just said, show me the tattoo so I know it's real. Polly replied back. Well, Wes, I think, replied back first. But then Polly, true Polly fashion, I would expect nothing less, talking about how he was mid-coitus, his words, with Kara when she scarred him by saying something about Wes. And I was just like, at this point, it would have been weird if you didn't tell me you were naked when you were emailing me. So it's pretty on brand, and I'm kind of here for it. And we kind of joked back and forth a little bit. The main thing I told him was, I think it's crazy how toxic and I get that the cast members fight with each other and all that. That's one thing. The amount of racist and misogynistic and homophobic and just death threats in general that get thrown at cast members is kind of insane on a daily basis. So I told Polly, we'd be kind of hypocritical if we didn't at least try to hear him out and get his side of things, because we, I'll give anybody a chance. I was like, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll be best friends at the end of this.
Well, let's be honest. I've been begging for Polly to come on the show.
You've been doing a little bit more than begging, which just kind of, I'm not going to get too graphic on here, but inflates his ego a little bit.
Are you trying to make a wiener joke?
I'm not.
Gross! Why would that be where you're going with that?
So here's the thing. I told Polly, I was like, as long as we can all be respectful and cordial and understand that we might not agree on everything, but if we can keep it cool and just talk and show the community at large that it's okay to disagree and still be able to have conversations with people, then we'll do that. And so that's what we're going to do. And again, I'm like, hey, we're all here for, little burns and jabs, whatever. I was like, but let's not cross the line. And I was like, also, we're a pretty PG show, so you're going to have to kind of tone it down. He said he could. So he's in London right now. We tried to work it out before he left for London, but it just didn't work out. And so he's in London and in Europe until the 19th. So it'll be after that. And so Lars Elizabeth, I don't even know what that comment means. I haven't listened to his Challenge Mania interviews, in all honesty. We're friends with Scott, but the first one I just knew to stay away from, and then the second one I just haven't gotten around to. I haven't listened to it, Justin. I'll probably check it out before we interview him, just because I don't want to do too much overlap. I want to have ours have its own vibe, and so again, we'll see what happens. You got anything to add to that? You're our number one Polly fan.
Just want to be very clear and upfront. This Polly fandom I may or may not have.
You absolutely have.
Is in no way, shape, or form fabricated. It's not been manipulated. It has been perfectly orchestrated by his performance on the challenge. Did you see what I did?
Yeah, I did.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's also been hyperbolically inflated to make it to where you want to fight with us over it.
I don't want to fight.
I don't either. That's one reason why I want to have Polly on, is because I don't want to fight with him. That's what I told him, because he said he wants to argue, and I think it was playful in his tone. I was like, if you just want to come on and fight and argue, that's not what we want to do. I don't want to start drama for the sake of drama, but we'll talk and we'll hang out and get to know you and hear your side of things.
It's like I said in our Slack. It's going to be the tag team matchup of the century. Am I right? Because
speaking of Slack, patreon.com/Smashing Heads Podcast.
The Smashing Heads tag team titles are on the line here, and it's myself and Paulie against the more familiar duo of Zach and Hannah.
I think we have Wes on our side too.
Wes is a free agent. All right,
I drafted it.
Can I tell you a little secret about Wes? Because I also know he's listening. Wes doesn't know what side he wants to be on. 1 second he's making me a jingle-specific dating app, and then he's nowhere to be seen. 1 second he's committed to be my wingman, and then he's nowhere to be heard from.
He should be the one that's going with us to see the Avengers.
Well, he should, but you know what? He won't be here because, honestly, he hasn't stuck to his word yet. Not with me. Not with me.
Yeah, again, we were really hesitant, to be honest, because people have thrown this idea out to us before, and we're like, I don't know, that doesn't really, because again, we didn't want to just fight or like argue or have, because we have spoken our mind about him, especially me and Hannah, and Jake has gone in the other direction, and we've played it up. We can both admit we've played up both sides of it.
I didn't play up anything,
but Jake and I, it is arguing for the sake of arguing sometimes. I can admit he's a good competitor, for sure. And you don't agree with some of the personal things, for sure. But we want to hear him out. We'll give him a chance. We'll see what he's saying.
Amen. Amen.
That's all I got to say about it. So yeah, Pauly, Frank, both coming on the show. Patreon.com/Smashing Heads Podcast.
Yeah.
And our website, smashingheadspodcast.com. You got anything else before we jump into tonight?
I'm ready to do this thing.
All right, guys. We're going to see you later on Instagram. We're going to archive this. Bye, guys. So.
That was fun. I like having people join us as we open.
I do too, actually.
It's a fun time.
It's hard for me to read and talk, so I did not read the last handful of comments. If you guys were on the Instagram with us, sorry about that.
Well, nobody ever called you bivocational, so don't sweat it.
Bivocational. That means I have 2 jobs. Is that the words you meant to say?
I don't know.
Which word is it? What am I looking for here?
Multitasker.
That's the word.
That's what you were trying to say, and you went with bivocational.
Nobody ever said you were a multitasker.
Man.
Nobody ever said he was bivocational either.
I'm
bivocational.
I literally think my entire life I've gone without anyone calling me bivocational. Let's get in tonight.
Here we go.
The first thing is all of the girls seem very excited that they don't have partners anymore.
Well, yeah, mostly. D and Ninja are super stoked about it. Georgia did not seem super excited about it.
Maddie was excited about it.
She was nervous.
Maddie was for sure. Kyle on the other end was not excited about it, which we'll get into that later.
Happy.
No, and I thought it was strange. You know, a lot of these girls were kind of stuck in situations where their guy partners had caused a lot of problems. Davon for sure was one of them.
Right.
And so I get why they're happy. At the same time, some of them lost very good teammates.
Right.
Maddie, I think, is going to be fine on her own, but
yeah, she'll be fine. Georgia, I think she needed Hunter's brawn to help her fight a little harder.
we'll see. I mean, she surprised me in that first elimination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time ago now, it seems, but
It was the very first one.
yeah. When she first went out there, I was like, oh, she's going to get thrown around by Ashley. But, hey, she took out the reigning champion.
Right. Well, one of the first things I noticed after the announcement of this becoming a single game, Pauly trying to politic with Turbo.
He didn't try. He did.
Yeah, it was just interesting. It's not... I didn't think Turbo was going to go for it, but maybe because Pauly was from Big Brother and not from the challenge. I don't know.
Well, being that Turbo was about that Pauly action, you two being two of the biggest Turbo fans around, how does that make you feel? Because it goes against what you believe.
It made my
First of all,
it made my insides feel weird.
No, I understand it from Turbo's side. He doesn't have any real alliances other than Nani, I guess, and he's a single competitor now. And if you're looking at just this season, he doesn't have any ties with anyone else because he's coming in. He's not coming in off Big Brother or Geordie Shore or any of these UK shows. He's coming in off his own show in his own country. He's a lone wolf. And if you're watching just this season, Pauly's doing really well at dailies.
Yeah.
And so he's been in the tribunal a lot. Like, I think Turbo's quote was something along, again, his quotes are very hard to get right because the words are kind of jumbled around because it's a second language for him.
And that's okay. He talks like my grandma, but arguably he's a little bit better at English.
Well, I think his words were something along the lines of, Pauly is this and he is always this. And I got the vibe is I kind of know what I'm getting from him.
Right.
like he's gonna be loud and whatever with Kyle, but I know he's gonna compete hard and whatever. And like, it makes sense for Turbo to like have an alliance there. I mean, because he's not gonna side with the Brits, and he's not in with Wes and Hunter and them because he does not like Hunter. We see that tonight.
Well, one of the other things I noticed, speaking of the Brits, is that Bear decides that all the Brits are going to conspire against Wes, which...
Yeah, him and Theo come up with their hit list. That's what they called it while they were playing pool. And their number one was Wes and Hunter, because they're obviously clearly an alliance. And so, again, it... from the beginning, like you see that it's either going to be a Turbo themed episode or maybe like a Bear themed episode, because MTV kind of plays their hand a little bit early on in episodes. They'll kind of really feature a couple people, and you know that someone's going to end up in elimination, and that's kind of what happened tonight.
And then it just goes straight to the daily.
Yeah, we were in the daily probably like 7 minutes into this episode. I didn't write it down, but it was quick.
I didn't think it was that long.
It was real quick.
It just jumped right in, and it started off with Hurricane fans.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of straight and to the point. Mm-hmm. Even with the addition of the Hurricane fans.
Yeah, I didn't mind jumping right in, and it made sense in the overall edit of the show because there was a lot that happened after the daily, especially with Hunter and Turbo, and then with Kyle trying to like push everyone to look at Hunter, and like there's a lot going on, and so it made sense to jump into the daily early, so we got to see a lot of that, which was more interesting than drawing out the stuff at the beginning.
Right.
And so again, the daily was Fandemonium, which I realized I do not know how to spell pandemonium when I was writing it down. I think I got it right, but
I need to know how you spelled that.
Did you spell it like the animal, like pandemonium?
Yeah, Panda
Monium, Monium.
No, Monyuuxm.
Zynga.
Okay. I think it's Zynga, but
so one thing I thought was really cool about the Hurricane fans is I figured it would just be like 50 miles an hour. No, TJ said that these Hurricane fans, what word am I looking for? They make it...
I know what you're trying to say, but he what he said was they're capable of producing like a Category 4 like type
Hurricane.
winds. He did not say that they're going to be set at that. He said they're capable of doing that.
Okay. The word I was looking for is that they do it. They do the thing, even though it's not the thing.
They blow winds?
No.
They did the thing.
What word am I looking for? I'm having what
Produce?
No.
Orchestrate.
Bivocational.
It's not demonstrate.
Malabsorption.
It's
demolish.
I really hope that one of our listeners can just like tweet me or something and help me remember what word I'm thinking of, because it's a word that I use it often enough that I should not be struggling right now.
Or associate.
No.
Yeah, that's what made me think of. He said they're capable of doing it, but he never said they were gonna be set at that. And so
he said they get up to 150 miles an hour.
Yeah, but he said they get up to. He didn't say we're gonna keep them at that.
Is it weird?
It seemed like they did.
That I picture you guys trying to run through this.
Yes.
Oh, the hurricane room?
Why? Because we live in the South and we have hurricanes?
We don't have hurricanes here.
No, we have tornadoes.
Oh.
No, but like, first off, I picture both of you getting swept on your feet, off of your feet, not on your feet. You can't be swept onto your feet, right?
I mean, you could try real hard.
Could.
Technically, I may or may not have been swept onto my feet today.
Yeah.
So, no, but I picture you guys being swept off of your feet by the wind, and
then what?
You know those noises you make when we play on PlayStation? That
this is 100% the noises that you make.
I feel like if your feet got swept out from under you in this little contraption that they built up for the challenge tonight, I can hear you going.
No, he sounds more like.
No. Let me get this straight. Let me get this straight.
Whoa!
You started laughing to yourself before we even got into it because you're like, I'm going to tell this story about something that is a false premise that you find funny.
Oh, you know me so well. Are you done? You just stopped. You just stopped.
It's fine. It's not worth the effort at this point. It's 11:55.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Anyway, we get into the daily. Georgia goes first. They have a 5-minute time limit. They're supposed to get all the balls into the bin, which comes into a very important part later, not just to the end of the tunnel. Georgia, 0.
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
She struggled.
She went...
No, she did not. She had already been swept off of her feet by Bear, so she had no feet to get any traction with.
Good one.
Georgia has no feet.
You disagree?
No, I mean, she went first. She did have you always have a disadvantage by going first. But I think at that point, Bear said she's going to get some special cuddles tonight
to make her feel better about it.
Yeah.
Nothing better than special cuddles.
Yeah. Hunter's next, which was her partner or ex-partner at this point. He does 6, pretty respectable. Obviously, way better than 0. And then Turbo comes in, and he goes, and at this point, he pushes himself to, like, the brink of, like, exhaustion. It's got to be hard to breathe in those tunnels, because it's just air forcing into your throat.
Everybody that we've seen so far, they have the mouth guards that, like, football players and basketball players wear. And everyone... Up until Turbo, they've been gritting their teeth, keeping their mouth closed. Turbo has his mouth wide open, yelling while he's running through. I absolutely noticed it because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that's just flying in the air. He might be getting stuff in his mouth, in his airway. And like after the first couple of balls, you could hear him in the background while they were showing everyone else standing by. You could hear him starting to cough a lot, like he was trying to cough something up, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna get sick and like throw up in the middle of this or something. But that's not what happened.
What I did notice about Turbo that I've actually noticed for the past couple of weeks, and I've made a note of it,
he's handsome.
He's not a bad looking guy, but man, he looks good in them white kicks, man, them Under Armours.
I didn't even notice that.
Golly, man, it just stands out. It's good contrast with the brown.
So
white kicks?
His shoes.
Shoes, okay.
Are you not familiar with...
No, I was distracted by his shorts.
Kicks?
He was wearing like the women's volleyball shorts.
That's all right. He went, and again, he gasses out. He falls in the, like, he has one more ball. But he doesn't get it in the bin, which again is a very strict point.
He collapses.
Yeah, time's out. He just falls over. They immediately have to rush the medics over to him. They're giving him oxygen. He's trying to do whatever, and then immediately the first thing is, how many I did? And he just wants to know because he's like, is it 8, 9?
Heart of a champion.
And the producer's like, dude, you need to calm down. And then the nurse said, please stop talking. You just need to try to breathe. And he's like, no, I need to know. Was it 8 or 9? Yeah.
And then he really appreciates. He points out the one nurse he claimed saved his life. He said, "If I win this, we're going to have a big party."
Yeah,
okay?
I think he did say you saved my life. And again, he just wants to know how many I did. And it ended up he did 7, and almost that 8th one, almost because he fell out right there. And again, heart of a champion.
Heart of a champion.
Nani's next. Again, Turbo's partner.
Not to be confused with a Lions mentality. Shout out.
Okay.
Nani goes, she does 4, kind of middle of the road. Theo goes next. In the edit, we saw Theo goes next. Again, he's got long legs. I figured he'd do good at this. He did 7. He got 7.
Yeah, I got some things to say about Theo.
All right, we'll get to it. Ninja Natalie goes next. She gets 5. That's the highest for a girl at this point. Davon's next. 1. Just 1.
It's better than Georgia.
It is better than Georgia, and is better than the next person, our girl D. That's 2 dailies in a row where D's
dropped it. Dropped the ball.
Yeah.
In the hurricane.
Oh yeah, she literally kept dropping it, and it would shoot to the back.
It hurt to watch.
Yeah, so she got 0 on that one. Polly is next, 7. Kara's next. She's talking about she's gonna win, beat everything. She gets 5, which it's good. Is she tied with Ninja at that point for the girls? But then this is where it changes.
Hello,
Maddie comes in.
Wes is so impressed with Maddie.
Oh yeah, he said, and he I think he told us that. I don't remember if we recorded or not, but he said she's the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were excited about her even before the season started.
Right.
Because just physically, she's very comparable to Laurel.
She's just a specimen to behold.
Yeah. Like she just has really big legs. She's very tall. She's not like a big girl, like she's not overweight or anything.
She's got good bone density.
She's built like an athlete.
Which brings us, I don't know if we were going to have a segment for our Slack questions, but this is a perfect time to ask one of the questions.
Go into it. We'll get
Brian, to it. Brian asked, do you guys think Maddie is the newer / cooler Laurel? She's pretty dominant.
She seems a lot nicer.
We haven't seen enough. Laurel did have a very mean side when she wanted to.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I know it probably made a lot of people mad or hurt a lot of people's feelings, but from a TV perspective, it was amazing. It was fun to watch because she could just. There was that one. I think it was. Oh, I can't even remember. It may have been Cutthroat or it was like Rivals or something like that. The one where Cara Maria got the stuff poured on by Wes. I'm sure someone will correct us, including Statman Paul. I can't remember what season it was. It may have been Fresh Meat 2, honestly. They get into this big like housing thing. Tyler's there, Wes is there, Johnny I think is there, Kenny's there, Paula, Laurel, Cara, someone else I'm sure. And Laurel just turns her attention to Paula and then like knows the things to say to like shatter you to the core. It's not like superficial things. It's like she knows what you're insecure about. And another person like that is who we're going to be interviewing later. I get that vibe from Frank.
Yeah.
And like she knows how to, if she doesn't like you, she knows how to tear you down, which
she's gonna wreck you.
Yeah. Laurel is very, very good TV because she's a great competitor, but she also is kind of mean sometimes.
She
can be very nice at the same time, but
she is what every TV producer looks for.
Oh, she was a godsend in that Fresh Meat too.
She'll also throw you a few curveballs, such as with the Nicole Cara love triangle.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It was weird.
Yeah. Again, and that ended up being kind of a storyline carrying on into. I did forget about all that. So again, anyway, Maddie goes 7. She's at this point she's 2 ahead of any other female, like killing it. Mm-hmm. And Kyle goes, he gets 7. Bear, this is the tricky one. Bear goes right away, and he's right out the gate going.
Quick.
If he said from the beginning, he's like, I'm gonna get all 10, be in and out. They have 5 minutes. If you want to do 10, it's 1 every 30 seconds. He does get 2 super quick, but he does not throw them into the bin.
It's like once he got to the end of the tunnel, he just kind of tossed them.
But he threw them right on the floor the first 2.
Yeah. And so the way the wind is hitting, it's hitting that corner of the wall inside the safety zone where if the ball is on the outside of the bins, it's going to get sucked right back down the hall.
I wonder if because they play test all of these dailies and whatever. I wonder if they play tested it and like realized that you could just drop a bunch of them right there, and then they're like, we need to make sure that if you do that, it's going to go all the until it gets past that wall.
Yeah,
it's going to get blown back. Because here's the thing: if he would have been smart and paid attention to what TJ said, he would have won this. Been in the tribunal. This episode went in a completely different direction. Whenever they showed all that, I looked at Jake and I was like, it's going to be incredible if he is not in the tribunal, goes into elimination, and goes home because he didn't pay attention to the daily rules. Because he won. He would have won outright. He had more than anyone else.
He thought he did for the longest. I mean,
until the announcement.
He went on a gloating spree, enough so that even like Cara and Kyle, his friend Kyle, were saying like, maybe. It's so annoying.
Yeah, Kyle's a strange one because he's not aligned with a lot of the UK kids.
That's because he's hanging out with Wes and Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is friends with Bear and them just because they've been doing stuff around each other for a while. But yeah, Bear was holding it over everyone, and like he was even telling people after, like, "Oh, I'm winning. I got 8, blah blah blah." And then when TJ announces it, he's like, "It had to be in the bin." He's not even in the top 3. He's not even in the top 5. He
tied with Wes after calling him a loser.
We didn't get to Wes. Wes got 6. Wes says very slippery. He underestimated it.
It sucked. It sucked to watch.
I mean, that's like a homemade slip and slide, right? Like it's what you use to.
If you got that equipment in your house to home make stuff,
yeah. Have you never done that?
Yeah, I've done, but not with Hurricane fans.
Right.
No, I'm just talking like it had to be. It had to be super difficult.
We used to have to make those for VBS stuff back in the day.
Hey, shout out.
Just shout out.
Just in general. Yeah, so TJ announces the winners. Again, no times. We just have to take his word for it. I wish we would see times. I think that is one. I didn't listen to Polly's episode of Challenge Mania, but I think he did say he would like some sort of like clocks.
Yeah. So
we can see who got what. I agree with that. Polly, Theo, Turbo, those are the ones that were in the tribunal.
Turbo earned it 100%.
Kyle and Maddie were the ones that got left out, as far as the people who got 7. And so...
But Maddie was a girl.
We find out right after that...
Technically, Maddie is still a girl, but we don't need to get technical.
Yeah.
Okay.
We find out, TJ announces, which we didn't know this until this episode, they're going to alternate eliminations. This week will be a guy's elimination. So this season is going to go longer than we initially thought.
Yeah. I thought it would be guy and girl elimination.
I thought we didn't know. Like we didn't know if they're going to start sending 2 people home or how is it going to work. But thanks for hitting that. But it's a guy's elimination, so all the girls know they're safe. Davon said she thanks God that this day that she was made a woman, so she didn't go into the elimination because it was a guy's day.
Amen.
She said, "Thank you, God, for making me a woman on today."
Yeah. Even if you want to get technical, it wasn't.
It was not today, technically.
So Kyle, Hunter, and Wes are the names. Surprisingly, even though Bear gloated to everyone, he not pulled. He
didn't get nominated.
It kind of makes sense. Kyle, obviously, Polly's going to pick Kyle no matter what. Earlier in the episode, we see Theo said he's got his hit list. He's not picking Bear. He's going Wes or Hunter. And Turbo does not like Hunter because he doesn't like the way he speaks to women.
Yeah, but I thought Turbo wouldn't like Bear because Bear is cheating on a woman currently cheating on his cousin with Georgia.
But George is all there for it. Like she was all over him this whole episode.
I will say that little kitchen interaction where she said she would be in his clouds or whatever that phrase was. No, man, that was super sweet. I didn't
understand that saying.
It doesn't matter. It was
I don't know. It's probably a British thing. I don't know. But she's like, I'll do anything for you to make you feel better. And he's like, well, I've got a couple things in mind. She's like, okay, well, we'll start off with coffee and then
Way
some
to my
food.
Heart, personally.
And it was just like, it was sweet that she like started opening the cabinets and she's like, I'll make you some coffee.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you did.
I didn't mean to. I will say, I thought they were like holding on that shot because they were wanting Bear to be like, we're gonna do this and get nasty and sexual and whatever.
Yeah, it was.
They didn't show them say anything like that.
No, it was wholesome.
Was it on the pod last week or was it over? Did we talk about that during WrestleMania where we felt like sensual was a more sexual word than sexual?
I don't remember when it was. We talked about too much stuff.
I didn't talk about that.
Anyway,
that may have been when we were playing Rocket League.
It may have been. What a time to talk about that. No, God, man, I've lost my train of thought. It's sensual business.
You're talking about the kitchen scene.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay.
It was just, look, man, it was super sweet. If you ever want to know the way to my heart,
Jake, are you telling Zach and I, or are you telling all the potential single lady listeners?
I am telling anyone that's willing to listen. Just like with this podcast, we throw out this information in our hot takes for anyone that's willing to listen.
Yeah.
So I am giving you a little piece of information on myself that if you want to know the way to my heart, you specifically take me to Starbucks.
Yep. Vanilla.
No.
Cinnamon dolce
vanilla.
latte skinny.
Let me be very.
It's cinnamon.
If I'm going to get real crazy, I'm getting a venti.
Ooh.
Yeah.
With an extra shot. But we'll stick with my usual, which is a grande iced skinny cinnamon dolce latte with
close.
soy milk.
I just want to throw this out here.
You drink coffee like a woman.
I love it.
No, not that. I don't care about that. Again, drink whatever you like. Be as delicious as you want to be. But I don't have any problems. Again, people who order the super fruity like cocktails or whatever, yeah, that's gonna taste the best. Do whatever you want. But what I was gonna say is, I can't believe that I'm the only person. I know I am in this room that does not really care about Starbucks, because I don't drink coffee, because I don't want to get dependent on it, because I have trouble sleeping anyway, and I don't enjoy the flavor of it. And I've tried, and so if I have to get something at Starbucks, I'm going to get something that's very far away from coffee.
He likes the vanilla bean frappuccino because it's like a.
I like the mocha one. I get those type of things.
It's like a vanilla milkshake.
Yeah, you should try the Java chip.
I've had that.
Yes.
I get those type of drinks because I don't care. I know I can't be the only person out there who does not really care when we're there. And people are like, we're going to Starbucks. And I was
man.
like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I might get a cake pop or $5 cheese.
You did get a
stuff.
cake pop last time we went.
There is nothing better. I'll say this and we can move on. There is no better combination. Their brownies are unreal.
I never had those.
They're brown, but don't get it warmed up. They'll warm it up. If you don't say, hold on.
I didn't say anything.
They'll warm it up if you don't say anything. And so you just get it room temperature, all right? You take a swig of your preferred coffee. For me, it's my grande iced skinny cinnamon dolce latte with soy milk.
God, that's such a
And
mouthful.
I will tear off a piece of brownie that's got one of those chocolate chip chunks in it, stick it in my mouth, take a little sip of my grande iced skinny cinnamon dolce latte with soy milk, soak it up real nice, and it is just... I
don't like that.
It is so good. I love it.
Okay.
Have you had any of their food?
Yeah.
Have you had their donuts?
No. I'm not
Like they're
I got him a donut for breakfast one time. He didn't say anything about it though.
Was it those crap donuts from a few weeks ago?
No, those are good. Those are way better than the Starbucks ones. No, what I was gonna say is, have you had any like their breakfast sandwiches?
Oh, I've had some of their paninis. I've had some of their breakfast sandwiches.
Paninis.
I've had their egg bites.
No, I got something from there, and I've heard other people talk about it on like YouTube and stuff. Their food, you can't customize it at all. It's like you get it how it gets it.
That's
because
right.
essentially they're just microwaving it. It is the hottest food in the world.
Oh, you've got to give it a 20-minute cool down.
Yeah, it is insane. It's like, oh, we're gonna just place this in a fire, but it somehow is not
Yep.
gonna burn alive.
Yep.
And like, it's unbelievable how hot their food is.
Yeah.
I don't even understand it.
But it's good once cooled down.
It wasn't bad, but again, overrated for what I could get from some other places.
It's something you stick in a microwave.
Exactly.
But they're not known for their microwavable food.
Apparently they are. So
That's
let's
not
move
their
on.
calling card, though, is my point.
Okay.
Listen,
Are we going to fight on this, too?
no, we're saying the same thing. Let's get into the tribunal.
Yeah.
Before that, why are you skipping stuff?
Because I'm moving the show along.
Hey, man. We got to get you to bed, Hand.
I know, but he's just jumping around.
I'm literally not.
Okay, let's go.
Tribunal. Hunter's the first one in. And...
He and Theo just start yelling.
Well, here's my take on the whole situation with the tribunal. Hunter comes in there. We've already established last week his game plan is something that not many people understand. But I
don't even know if he understands.
He's trying to say there's 3 things in life, and he keeps trying. And Theo's like, hold on. He's like, we get to decide who talks.
Yeah.
We get which it kind of has been. I get what you're probably going to go with it, but it kind of has been the way the interactions have been, and then that's when they get heated is when no one will listen to each other. My problem with this whole interaction is not that they're yelling over each other. It's that Hunter is taking the honestly almost the most cliche start to a speech of all time is there are 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and whatever point you want to make. The only way he could have made it any more cliche or predictable would have been like, Webster's Dictionary defines challenges as, and then go from there. Like, it is speech writing 101. They'd be like, get out of here. Don't even bring this up to me.
What if he would have said, hey, y'all?
That would have been better.
That would have been better.
He came in thinking, I'm going to have this big speech. It's going to be my big moment. Everyone's going to hear me. Guys, there are 3 things in life that are guaranteed. Taxes, death, and I'm not going to suck up. I don't remember what he said.
All right, well, let me say this about Theo. Because this guy's kind of been riding on my nerves for a couple of weeks now.
What's your deal with him?
All right, can I tell you who Theo is? Like, seriously?
Theo.
You know when you're trying to have like a... Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is his name.
All right.
I literally said the same name that you said.
But you said it with like a question mark at the end. Theo.
Well, you said, do you guys know who he is? And I said, Theo.
Well, let me tell you who he is, Han. Theo is... You know when you're trying to have like a personal conversation? Oh my God, I just got the perfect guy in my head. Oh man.
Just get your analogy.
DPL.
Jesus.
All right,
okay.
So he's that guy, okay? When let's say you and Hannah are at a specific location and you're trying to have like a private, intimate conversation, all right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's the guy that's going to come up to you, put his arms around your shoulders and be like, what's up, guys? Like you weren't having a conversation at all.
Has Theo ever done that?
No, but I can it's the vibe I get off of him, man. Like
But
I
he hasn't done anything to prove that he's going to be like
I still don't know what
guy
DPL
like that.
means.
This guy I swear he's more excited about these tribunal like
He loves
judgment
the power.
sessions.
He loves the power of it.
It's I don't know, man. It really sets me off. I can't explain it. I don't really have a good explanation for it.
Will you text me what DPL means?
Yeah,
Because it's going to bug me.
Well, anyway, so Hunter's whole tribunal speech was just pointless because all they did was yell over each other and then Hunter left.
Hunter came with 2 hot dogs and then a phrase. Oh, yeah. I would not have picked
I
that.
forgot about the hot dog thing.
And again, Theo wasn't having it. I get where you can say he's kind of annoying from it. He kind of, I guess the last time he's in there with Kara, he got to take the forefront, and he's just trying to run with it now. So
I don't know. I don't get any weird vibe from him. Honestly,
I don't mind
I don't
him.
get anything.
Yeah, I really don't have a problem with him. I'm not picking up. I see what you're saying, but it doesn't affect me that way.
I don't like it.
Well, Kyle's millionth run in the tribunal.
Well, it's because Polly's been in
Yeah.
the thing a lot.
There wasn't much there because Polly's like, you know why you're here, and if you're ever in the top 3, then I know you're gonna call my name.
Again, it's 12:15 here. So.
I know.
I will say, I think this was the time Polly said, we know there's mutual respect or something along those lines.
And so they can kind of like cordially speak with each other during these things. But
you know who's not in the room?
I know. The thing is, what caught my attention was Polly looked at Kyle and he said, you understand and we understand that there are bigger fish to fry than you in this game right now. And that made me think, oh no, they're going to leave Kyle alone and start going for Wes.
That was Polly's big push in the actual picking of who was going in the killing floor as well. Was he said something along the lines of the enemy you don't see coming is worse than the one you do, something along those lines, which it is true.
The one that you don't see coming is the one that's the most dangerous.
Yeah, something like that. And
I thought he was going to say Wes's name.
I thought he was going to say Wes too.
And he looked at Kara, and Kara's eyes got really big, and she gave him a look. I honestly,
well, we're not to the picking yet. Yeah.
I know, but you brought it up.
Well, I just brought up he played that card twice, and it was interesting to see that that was his game plan, because I think all of us have thought this whole season his number one goal was
to
Kyle.
get Kyle out.
Yeah, I mean I think everyone watching thought that, and then when he actually has a chance to, he's kind of backing away from it, and I I'm kind of glad we haven't interviewed him yet because I want to know. I get his reasoning to an extent, but again, that Bananas proved and Wes proved later, you've got to take your chances when you got him, and he did ultimately pick him to go in. But I don't know. I get Wes as a threat. Hey guys, our power just went out. We were roughly 45 minutes into the episode, and the entire power in our house went out. So our hard drive stopped working, the computer stopped working, everything like that. But after doing a little bit of digging, all of our tracks seem to be there up until 45 minutes. So if we repeat anything really quickly, just forgive us because we're just trying to make sure that everything gets covered. So
I just want to say real quickly that was one of the scariest moments.
Yeah, we thought we lost the whole episode and we're 45 minutes in.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was one of the scariest moments because we were sitting in a very small room and all the lights went out.
No. We thought we were going to have to record all this again.
When we're going to have to reenact literally the Instagram live, everything.
I wasn't going to do that.
I would have reenacted it.
I was literally just going to be like, hey guys, our first one got cut out because the power went out and we're just having to redo it. And I figured it would be, this is a short episode now. But we're back. I think I was in the middle of saying Paulie did not call out Kyle, or we didn't think he was going to. I was wondering if he was going to be concerned about screen time with Kyle gone. If Kyle was gone, obviously Paulie's story, quote, him, Kyle, is not the center point anymore. And so because of that, I was wondering if that's maybe what he was thinking of, because Paulie is very aware of the show side of things. He said he's a fan. He's been watching them for a long time. He comes from CBS show, Big Brother. And so that was my only reasoning behind that. Now, let's get into probably the most... there wasn't much to say about Wes. Again, this kind of power thing kind of threw me off kilter. But Wes just said, obviously I'm not coming after you or whatever. Like, he's got other people he wants, and... So he didn't think he was going in, but he almost did. The big thing from the night, was Hunter drunk when all this started? They didn't show it, but
no, he just sat down next to Georgia, and
but we don't know what they were doing before.
I have no idea. It seemed like he just sat down for conversation, and maybe he was just on edge because he was nominated for elimination.
If he wasn't drinking at that point, he's got to learn to control himself or
see someone.
Well, he's got that sleeve tattooed on his arm now.
Uh-huh.
So you got to imagine there's a heart on there somewhere.
Or another Bible verse somewhere.
All right, now we're just getting blasphemous over here.
It's not. No, he has Bible verses on him. I mean, it is.
And it just, I have a hard time believing that he even knows what they mean.
I'm not getting into anyone's personal beliefs, but...
Also, don't disparage the man's head of hair either, please.
Don't you?
Why did you bring it up?
I'm trying to keep this from happening again.
It will come up later. But he just gets into it. Again, he's not one that's going to back down as far as he has a very big ego, it seems. He is strong, but he was getting to the point to where he was like, oh, I could take on everyone here. And I think George was like, you couldn't take on Turbo. And he said at one point, I could with my hand tied behind my back.
And then Turbo looks at him, and then in his interview he goes, and he's quiet for a minute.
He flipped a switch.
Can I read to you
you write down the quotes?
All the Turbo quotes I got during
yes.
this? Can
give them all.
Yeah.
And these are all in chronological order, okay?
Yeah, go.
And for the expletives, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another word.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to tuck me up? What does that mean?
Yeah, before you go too far into the quotes, my favorite thing is he did not know what that meant, and then as soon as they told him, he was like, you will not tuck me up.
And then he said, be careful your words. Yeah. And then he said, for some reason, this is when I typed, I gotta be real, Theo's kind of annoying.
Okay. Because he jumped in. And he was calling Hunter some stuff. He did kind of get in the middle.
Yeah. He did jump in the middle of that.
He then goes on to say, son of the hitch.
Before that, though, I think he said something along the lines of, like, don't mess with me because you will go to the hospital and I will go home.
Well,
oh, he did say that.
This one was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
You have to know you are easy meat.
Yeah, my favorite thing, like, he called him just, like, he kept calling him a chicken, and he's like, no, you're chicken.
And then he said, I don't want to hear his chicken voice.
Well, no, like, the thing that brought that up is Turbo and security had, like, escorted...
Three producers.
Escorted Turbo to his room. And Polly and Kara were standing in there, and they're like, what is going on? Because nobody's ever seen Turbo like this. He's just been real happy-go-lucky up until this point. And Hunter's, like, trying to follow him in there, and... he's like, I don't want to hear you. You are upsetting me. And then he like says, I'm a human. And Hunter yells in the in the door frame, and he's like, I'm human too. And Turbo he turns around so quick. He goes, you are not human. You are chicken.
Yeah. See, now I live to get in an argument with someone where I'm just yelling back at them. I'm human too. You know what? Hey.
No, you don't want to be Hunter in this situation.
No, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just, what a great fight to be a part of.
Yeah, it again, I said on the Instagram Live, I think that's maybe one of my favorite parts of the season, if not my favorite. Because the thing is, Turbo has been so calm and like, oh, I love my partner Nani and whatever. And then, like, he was fine. And then Hunter was like, oh, I could beat him with one hand tied up. He's like, I'd F him up. And he's like, what does that mean? And then once he found out, he was like, you will not. And then he was done.
There was then one more comment made about, I don't remember the exact statement, but something about Turbo fighting him would be like animal abuse or something.
Yeah, Turbo, he said that.
Yeah.
That was in his little
because he's a chicken.
Yeah.
That's right.
You get it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You get it. And then like you would think that everybody sleeps it off. The next morning, he's trying to fix breakfast. Wes is trying to fix a smoothie, and he turns to Wes and he's like, "You tell him."
He said, if he touches my arm, I will break his arm. And he was like, I'm not kidding. Wes was like, I got it.
Yeah, he told him, he's like, you go and tell him. And Wes is like, okay, I will.
He's like,
okay.
It is too early for this. But I like, again, it's like a switch flipped. Like his turbo switch got flipped, and now he is like all out. Hunter is his like mortal enemy, is what we thought. And he walks, Wes goes, he's like, I've got a message for you. Turbo says, don't touch him, like, even in a playful way, because if you touch him, he will break your arm. And
Hunter's already had a broken arm on a challenge.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hunter is in bed. It's early in the morning because they're making breakfast. Turbo and Wes are the only people in the kitchen, so it's got to be early. Hunter's in bed with a hat on.
Can you imagine what his bed head looks like?
I mean, it's like
a hat.
It's early, and
it's a hat.
Kyle's in there, and he's like, Turbo's in love with Nani, and then Hunter's trying to take her away, and he's like, it's always a woman between all these things, because obviously he's in the middle of the Kara thing.
Do you think, considering as many chicken references as he made, that he would be a big fan of Project Pat's chicken head?
If he could understand it, yeah.
Because
chicken
he actually
head.
makes chicken noises.
Chicken head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chicken head.
I wonder.
Chicken head.
I wonder if what his mom thought about that scene tonight. Because I think he said she watches, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that she was proud he was defending his own honor?
I don't know, because at one point he called her. I mean, Hunter. Sorry, Turbo called Hunter
a
mother whatever.
Lover.
Yeah. Mother Blunker. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I was like, he let one out, and then he's like, it's time, it's happening. I'm not holding back anymore. I wonder if this is just like he's slowly been watching Hunter,
and it's just been getting to him.
Didn't agree with it, and then it's like this. Once he understood what Hunter said and like knew what that phrase, it was done. Like it was over. And so, again, the next thing is like it cuts to we go into the killing floor. Before we even get the name of it or what it is, TJ says, hey, we've got a special sponsor. You're going to get something from Burger King, but doesn't say what it is. We still don't know what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Even after we've watched the entire episode. Again, it was reminiscent of older challenges where they would have sponsors on dailies. But They've done that before. I think they did it on Invasion of the Champions or something like that, where Burger King sponsored it.
I don't remember.
Because remember they were living in that hut?
Oh, yeah.
And then like Tony and some other ones got to eat a bunch of Burger King.
Because everybody else had been eating like scraps.
Yeah, and so...
I'm just waiting on the remote control vehicular camcorders to come back on wheels or something.
They did have a RC webcam at one point on one of the seasons we watched. Which
like straight out of Home Alone 3.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But they were like, oh, RC cars, we can do that. Webcams, those are new. Let's put them together.
Also an underrated Home Alone movie, the third one.
Scarlett Johansson's in that.
That's right.
That's the
She's
sister.
the sister.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was like 13 or 14.
Also in Eight-Legged Freaks as a sister to one of the main characters.
You know.
She really played that sister role well.
Yeah.
It's a shame she didn't have another sister.
Wow, okay.
All right, so we get into the killing floor after the Burger King thing.
Well, one more thing about Turbo. He loves Burger King.
Oh, yeah, he did. He was very excited.
He got so excited, and then he yelled out, I love Burger King! Which is so funny.
I genuinely like Turbo a whole lot.
Love.
Yeah.
I love this man.
I genuinely have Burger King pretty low on the list of mine.
I do too, but man, I just love Turbo. He makes me want to eat Burger King more.
It depends. I would have it higher than some other ones. But anyway, Turbo starts off the voting. So he's fought with Hunter all night long. He picked Hunter. He's going to say Hunter. But he immediately just goes Kyle.
It was weird.
I was like, okay. I guess he's not afraid. I guess maybe that's his thing is he's like, I'm not afraid of Hunter. It's like, who cares about him? I'm just going to pick Kyle. And he picks Kyle. Then Theo picks Wes. And this is where Paulie gives the whole thing we talked about earlier where he's like, oh, the enemy, you can see whatever. And
well, I didn't get to say this earlier because you said that we were jumping ahead. I legitimately, absolutely think that Paulie was about to vote Wes. But when Kara turned and gave him that look, I think that they got a second to talk about it. Like Kara said something to him and changed his mind because it cut to commercial. And when it came back, TJ was telling Paulie, he's like, Paulie, I need to know who you're voting for. And then in Paulie's confessional, before he said his vote, he's like, I wanted to pick Wes, but Kara gave me the look. And she said, this is who has made my life miserable. I need you to take care of this for me. So I really think that he was going to pick Wes, and Kara talked him out of it.
I don't know if she talked him out of it, but it was like they had not communicated. I think it was like Kara just assumed, he's picking Kyle because, duh, why wouldn't he? And then he starts talking, and she's like, oh, no, like, it might be Wes. And, she may have just, like, given him, like, what are you doing? And then he changes it. But, again, picks Kyle. Kyle goes down. The only people he can choose from are Hunter, Wes, and Bear. The other ones are safe. We're only down to 7 people on each side. And so he's kind of close with Wes, which is also tied to Hunter. So he picks Bear, which was not... Because, again, Kyle's not part of the UK alliance like everyone else is.
But he and Bear were actually friends from way long back.
I don't know how close they were. I know that they're... whatever.
I don't know. He said it was a difficult decision for him because that was his buddy.
Yeah, I mean, they've clearly known each other.
But he said he didn't choose Hunter or Wes because if he picked one, the other one would be waiting for him.
Yep. And again, the Brits are already their own alliance. Bear's kind of the head of it, even though Theo's trying to seemingly take that role.
And he's been causing a lot of trouble in the house.
Yeah, and so Kyle versus Bear. It's an elimination called King of the World, and TJ immediately was like, "Hey, it's going to be a trivia type one," which is weird because we saw the baskets in the back. Like, how's this trivia? And then he explains it. It's basically it's going to be multiple choice because Kyle and Bear are both freaking out. They're like, "Oh no!"
Got so upset.
And so it's a trivia game with a twist because it also is physical. There's 5 balls, 5 answers. TJ reads a question. There's a different answer on each ball. Whoever gets the ball and then takes it to their goal and deposits it gets
the right answer.
Yeah, the right answer gets the point for the round. So round 1, I believe, was which country. Oh no, round 1 was how many numbers are on the dice.
That's right.
Wes immediately throws out the wrong answer, And
he starts yelling out 22. It's 22.
It's 21, and
then Polly yelled out, "It's 21," and then Kara's like, "Great, now Kyle knows."
and he's like, "Kara, I can count," and because they did have a little bit of a time before the ball dropped, so the ball drops. I think Bear finds it first.
And Kyle levels him.
Yeah, they just start going at it. It was a good wrestling match for a while, but then Kyle gets the first point. Not much there. The second round was what country has a royal family, and the UK was not an option. And I think it was Chile and Argentina, Japan,
Germany,
United States.
United States. Obviously, United States is not it, but they're both British, so who knows? Bear goes first. He gets a ball, and he goes for Argentina. And Kyle kind of lets him hang out over there.
Because he knows it's not right.
Yeah, but he also...
He didn't know which one was right.
So Bear drops it. TJ's like, that's not right. Kyle, you have as long as you need to pick out whatever answer you want. Put it in your basket. Well, Kyle picks... Chili. That's not right either. And so then he's like, all right, we're resetting it. They're putting 3 balls in the middle. They don't drop them. Just put them in the middle. And then... I don't even remember what the correct answer was.
It was Japan.
Japan, that's what it was. And so they all kind of realize it's not Germany and it's not the United States, so it's Japan. So they fight over it. At this point, at the end of wrestling for a while, once Kyle rips it away, Bear kind of gives up on it and lets him run. And Kyle drops it in. It's the correct answer. He gets the point. I think at this point is when they cut to Georgia and she's just crying. Really crying. And...
Well, at one point, I heard Hannah. I made a Hannah note.
Uh-huh.
Hannah just says, "God, she's weeping."
Oh, yeah. That's after the next round.
Okay. So, round 3.
Because at this point, Georgia has crocodile tears.
I got a question.
You can see it from here.
Round 3 comes in. Do you remember what the question is? I really do not remember the question for round 3.
What kind of animal is a dolphin?
Dolphin, yeah.
Is it a mammal, an amphibian,
there's
a reptile, or...
There's 5 options. Obviously, I was like, it's a dolphin. It's a mammal.
It's a dolphin.
And Kyle grabs it. Actually, no, Bear grabs it. He makes a beeline for it. Kyle makes an insane recovery.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone jump and stay in the air horizontally quite so long.
It reminds me of when a corner has been beat in football and the ball's about to drop, and then out of nowhere they get that little bit of a burst and they can knock it out. Because that Bear was there. He had the point, and then Kyle recovered, knocked it out.
Once he got it out of Bear's hands, Bear sat there and watched.
Bear gave
him
up.
Run.
He gave up in the 3rd round. He had already kind of given up in the 2nd round, but I think he was like, "Oh, round's over. I can reset." Yeah. But he just didn't even try once Kyle got the ball. And so Kyle wins. Kyle swept it.
Yeah.
And again, that defensive play by Kyle was huge.
It's that rugby.
Does he play rugby?
I'm pretty sure he played.
I don't know. I know Ashley played soccer for some teams.
He still plays.
Yeah, but he's hurt right now, I think.
He broke his leg.
But he wins. Bears already won 2 eliminations at this point, so it's not like he's a stiff, but again, I thought he would do more than what he did, to be honest, for this elimination.
It was a real letdown watching him.
He did give up.
Yeah.
And
real letdown.
And he left without even saying goodbye to Georgia,
who was at this point weeping.
That's when she started weeping, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then it after he started walking away, he didn't really even say bye. He was walking away and just threw up a hand or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Georgia yells out, "Bye, Bear," and Wes said, he's gotta run out of the killing floor back to his cousin.
Yeah. That was my cousin.
When I saw her, as Hannah said, weeping,
it was inconsolable.
Well, the thing that made me think of was Teen Mom.
Okay.
Why?
Farrah Abraham.
Ew.
Who has always been, number one, has to be one of the worst human beings.
I have not watched the show, but I have seen stuff from the show.
I've never watched the show, but I know enough about her.
Yeah.
She has, number one, it's one of the quickest transitions into a cry face.
Okay.
It is special.
I haven't seen
how
that.
fast of a transition it is. And it is very brutal looking. She looks like she's in pain.
She's had a lot of surgery. I know.
I'm not talking about I'm talking about her cry face. When I saw Georgia tonight, I kind of thought she's in the same vein, cry face wise, as Farrah Abraham.
Do you think Farrah's is legit or for TV?
Oh, I think she does a lot for TV.
I think Georgia's was legitimate.
Yeah.
Oh, she was like distraught. And I think on her part, there was still a part of her that knew that Bear was cheating on someone with her. And with Bear leaving, that was the end of their relationship forever.
Yeah, I don't think they're together.
But
They're not.
At least he was honest about it, right?
No, he was not.
No.
He's never been
the
honest.
opposite
Kidding.
of honest.
Someone's gonna get me for advocating for cheaters. I do not,
No.
and I will not.
So at this point, Kyle wins. TJ's like, hey, our great sponsor Burger King is going to let you bring 3 friends with you to enjoy something special. And
I expected Hunter, Wes, Maddie.
obviously Polly and Kara are not going to be involved. Although that would have been really funny if he picked Kara and not Polly, or vice versa. But
Polly and Turbo.
yeah, but he picks he's like, hey, sorry guys, I'm going to pick the ladies, and he picks Nani, Davon, and
Smart.
Georgia.
And smart.
Right? Georgia was the third one?
Maddie
Maddie was the third one. That's right, because that's his partner. And
he treated the ladies.
he
It
did,
was sweet.
but we don't know what it is at this point. I mean, maybe we'll see it next week.
Still nice.
It'd be really weird if they're like behind the scenes, like, oh crap, Burger King wants to sponsor this. We'll just say they're giving him something really special, and he'll pick people, and then we'll pretend it happened and just move on. And that way Burger King doesn't really have to do anything.
Do they have the spicy chicken sandwich of any sort?
They do.
Hey, you better get a spicy chicken sandwich or something out of that. They're in little chicken nuggets. They're shaped like dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I used to dip them in honey at Burger King when I was a little kid.
No.
No, I did. You can't tell me what I did when I was a little kid. But again, he picks the ladies. That's pretty much it for this episode. Like, the credits are rolling while they're walking out. Turbo is the one in the back. Polly says something along the lines of, well, I guess I'll have to do my own dirty work if no one else can take him out. We'll see. Again, it is better ultimately that Kyle's in the game for Polly's camera sake, storyline sake.
Yeah.
Aura.
That's not the word I was looking for.
But also, I like Kyle. He's entertaining.
I do like Kyle. A lot of
He's
people
so
hate him.
Funny.
I think he's funny because he knows he sucks at some things, and
He's very self-aware.
he's like, yes, be mad at Hunter. And again, I like Kyle. But again, going back to Jake's point, we're not condoning cheaters or anything like that. Just his personality on the show. Get into superlatives for the night.
Yeah.
Who got their head smashed?
Georgia.
Because of Bear.
Because when Bear left and didn't say bye.
That's a good one. I can't argue with that.
Bear, but specifically confident Bear.
Okay.
And arrogant Bear.
That's fine. I had a backup because I had Bear initially. My backup's Hunter.
Hey.
Because
Yeah.
Turbo just shut all that down and just said, you're not a human, you're a chicken. And
Called him easy meat.
Yeah. Well, Turbo said that he could smell the fear on Hunter once he flipped his switch.
yeah, again, that's the one I'm gonna go with.
That's a good one.
Since you took the other one. What's who smashed heads tonight?
TJ, when he told Bear that he didn't get 8 balls.
That's
Those two that didn't
That's
count.
why I was gonna have Bear for my initial one, was because he was so confident he got 8 and then didn't. But
I gotta give it to him. As much as he may annoy me right now, Theo in the judgment line. What do you call that thing?
The judgment line.
Yeah, can I call it the judgment line?
Go for it.
When he's in the judgment line, man, it's like nobody else is in the room. Like nobody else is in there with him.
Oh, he wants to be heard.
He takes charge.
He is judge, jury, executioner, and the tribunal.
Someone on Instagram pointed out, they're like, did you notice that even though Theo was down a whole station, he still was as tall as the people in the back row?
Yeah.
He's so tall.
Yeah, and Paulie's like 5'9". I don't know how big Turbo is, but yeah. So I had two because I figured one of you would take one. You neither one took either. So I'm gonna put Turbo smash heads tonight, but for the same reason. But I also had Kyle because he beat Baird, and Baird won 2 eliminations. I was expecting one of you to take one of those, and you didn't. We were in all different areas
I
tonight.
don't like to use whoever wins the daily or wins or loses eliminations. I like to use the not obvious ones.
I don't like to, but at the same time, like sometimes they just kill it.
I just want to mix it up.
Yeah, so I'm my official one is Turbo.
I always support Turbo being the smasher of heads.
Jake, you got our Patreon people pulled up?
I do.
Let's pull them up. Again,
what about our movie?
We're going to get to it. I just want to do this first.
I have a question from JWJC90.
Let me read this real quick.
Okay.
We're still figuring it out.
I'm not reading it. It's just patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast if you want to get some questions in. Also, if you want to get a shout out at the show. Because, again, we want to let everyone know, our patrons who support us, because we're very appreciative of you guys. And so go ahead with his question, because I did say we'd read it because he's been on here.
And he's said he's becoming a patron now.
And also he's been here since episode 1.
He said, who's an OG that you'd like to see come back on the show that hasn't been on in at least 5 seasons? My answer's Evan.
I would like to see Evan back.
He was good. He was funny. He was Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been over that time.
He's got a baby.
You got one, Jake?
Abram?
Abram?
Been 5 years?
Bloodlines.
5
Has that
seasons?
been 5 years?
He just said 5 seasons. He didn't say 5 years, I don't think. So I don't remember because we've had a whole trilogy, Invasion of the Champions. This is 5. So
and
it probably was
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been over 5 seasons.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Abram. That's a good one.
I'm going to pick Abram, too. Yeah. Just because, especially in the midst of all this other stuff that's going on with.
Oh, he'd have fun with his car.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's good. I think we all can kind of say that's unanimous at this point.
Oh, yeah, whoa. Yeah. That's a good. Oh.
I don't think we'll see him back, but
ever.
It would be.
But still.
I loved him coming in as a replacement on Bloodlines.
When.
Well, we had 2 more questions.
Okay.
I was just going to add to the Abram thing.
Oh, okay.
But what really won me over was when he and Kara were supposed to still be together, and somebody told Abram that that Kara and Tony the twin were doing stuff in the back of the bus.
His name's not Thomas.
Thomas the twin was doing stuff in the back of the bus. And then Abram just lost his mind.
Oh, yeah. One of my all-time favorite challenge moments ever is when Abram's brother is going into an elimination against the twin, and he gets himself so psyched up.
He's just yelling.
And trying to freak the other team out, that he starts bleeding out of his nose and then loves it, and so he starts rubbing it all over his face. It is 100% the definition of, like, psychological warfare, and it worked because they were shook.
Yeah, it freaked them out so bad. And it got his brother worked up, too.
Yeah.
He turned into a monster.
And Mike was pretty reserved before that. So
2 questions here from another Patreon. Connor.
Patron.
Is it patron?
Yeah, they're patrons that support us on patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast.
Right.
Patrons.
Was it just me, or was Kyle extra funny this episode?
Yeah, he was pretty funny.
I think Kyle's funny in almost every episode.
Yeah, I think he was about as funny as he has been.
Yeah, speaking of that, Connor, I know you came over from Big Brother when all these people started coming over from that. You should watch Kyle's first season. It
was hilarious.
Which was Vendettas.
Yep.
And again, he I'm not going to say anything what he did, but again, it's a good one. We were surprised by him in that season.
And lastly, Connor says also, I noticed the 3 in the tribunal were all men, and the challenge highly disadvantaged, less muscle and weight. Do you think this will be a trend going forward, or will they find a way to balance the challenges more?
Last week in our Patreon Slack, someone brought up about equalizers, because that was a big thing last year. Because they would do these eliminations, and since it was mixed sex couples or whatever, they would have, if it's a guy, they're going to have more bands on him to make it harder. Again, when we had Devin on, he was like, that's crazy, because if I'm going up against CT, he should have more stuff than I do because we're not the same. But we haven't heard anything about equalizers, and also at this point they haven't needed anything for equalizers. And it seems that they're going to alternate guy-girl eliminations. So I don't think we're going to see anything like that. What was his specific question for this episode? Just that the daily favored more muscle. Yeah. I mean, Matt. Here's the thing, to kind of push that aside. No offense to Connor, Maddie was awesome at this. Yeah, but she has more muscle.
She did amazing.
Yeah. Again, I would like to know the specific times of people. Let's know how close she was. But yeah, she did great. So let's get into movies for the week, or do you want to do album first? I'll do album first. I'll start. I'm going to double dip into a band that I've already mentioned before because it's arguably the most important band in my life, and this was the album that really revolutionized things for me. The band is just called Brand New. The album is Deja Entendu or Entendu. I think it means already heard, like deja vu is already seen. But I got that album right around like 9th grade, I think, and it really just like transitioned my...
Set you on a whole new course in life.
It really, like, again, there's some issues with Jesse Lacey, the lead singer, these days that I don't know the full allegations or agree with, obviously, but separate the art from the artist. They make amazing music, then they will be my favorite band forever. And so I'm going to pick another one of their albums, even though I picked one before. But that's perfect, top to bottom for me.
Yeah. Well, around the time that I started taking on some of the same musical influences that you had, Anne Boleyn's Never Take Friendship Personal was like a big time, coming into this genre moment for me.
They're one of the bands I just never liked, to be fair.
Weird voice on that guy.
Yeah, weird.
It's a very...
I'm surprised you like him, honestly.
It's not my favorite, but that album is like, it's an easy listen, like if you're just driving, taking a 2-hour road trip and you just want to feel good.
For 2 hours? Well, you're going to listen to Anne Boleyn for 2 hours?
Well, I'm going to drive to Nashville tomorrow. It's a 2-hour road trip. So you know what? I may pop on Anne Boleyn's Never Take Friendship Personal.
Yeah, again, I never got into him because of his voice. The reason I said that is because you never liked Thursday because of his voice.
I do not like Thursday.
And I love Thursday. But, again.
But we're weird.
Yeah.
Mine is AM by Arctic Monkeys.
I do like the Arctic Monkeys a lot.
They're pretty good.
I don't know that album specifically. Their first album, which I can't remember the name of, just had a guy smoking on the cover, but
that's their best one.
It is their best one.
But
from what I've heard.
This one's still pretty good.
All right, the movie for this week, the year 2013. You probably already know what mine's going to be.
I don't.
I do.
Well, here's the thing.
Fast and the Furious 6.
Well, I was looking through the movies, and I was like, I didn't see any movies in 2013, apparently, other than I saw Captain Phillips, I think the Tom Hanks one, because I love Tom Hanks. And then I got to Fast 6, or I think it was just Fast and Furious was what that one was called. It was number 6, but I think they just called it that. Yeah, I'm picking that, of course, because I've talked about it before. Those movies from 5 on are insane and amazing, and I'm going to pick that every time those years come up. It's going to be hard to beat. Was that the one Paul Walker died in, where his brother replaced?
I believe so.
We talked about it last week because you picked Fast 5.
No, it was 7.
It wasn't last week.
It was 7.
It was 7, I think.
It was 7.
8 was the first one without him fully.
That's when they were driving weird vehicles on the ice.
Yeah. They fought a nuclear sub.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah. So, again, that's my pick. Okay, we'll move on.
Okay. Monsters University. Monsters, Inc. was one of my favorite movies of all time growing up. It still is one of my favorite movies ever made. And it took so many years for a sequel to come out. And so when it did, it actually came out really close to my birthday. My birthday's in the middle of June. And so my dad drove me an hour out of town to go to a larger city to take me shopping to the mall. And then he took me to see this movie, Monsters University.
So that's one that I didn't see from 2013 that I would have watched.
It's pretty good.
I don't know if you know this, but it was announced today or yesterday that there's going to be a Monsters animated show on Disney's new streaming service, and it's all the original voice actors.
Hey.
Okay, well...
It's Billy Crystal, John Goodman, all that.
Just so you know, we're going to buy that.
It's a streaming service.
Yeah, we're gonna pay for the streaming service.
You'll make a lot of money if you buy that streaming service.
So what's your
problem is buying it?
Yeah, what's yours?
Right? God, man, I want to say the Wolverine.
I almost picked that because I was like, oh, it was so much better than the last Wolverine movie.
Logan?
No, the one before this one.
Okay, that movie's really good, but
it's not as good as Logan.
No.
Yeah.
But I want to go a little bit under the radar.
Okay.
And go with an action star that I think is a little underappreciated, too.
Okay.
And that is Gerard Butler in Olympus Has Fallen.
I didn't see that one.
Look, it's your throwaway action movie, man.
Didn't they do a London Is Falling after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is equally as fun. I've come to enjoy, like, your throwaway action movies.
I like big budget action crazy movies. Like, I love the Mission Impossible movies. I love the Fast movies. Obviously, we talked about that, but I haven't seen the Gerard Butler vehicles other than 300.
It's a fun movie. It's not great, but it's fun.
Yeah, again, we listened to another podcast, How Did This Get Made? And they talk about they did Geostorm, and they've done Skyscraper and all those movies.
Geostorm, another Gerard Butler movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. But yeah, again, I can't comment one way or the other on that because I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's your fault.
But yeah, again, you made it this far. You know who we are.
I got to shout out our patrons.
That's what I was about to plug.
Oh,
was a Patreon.
Dang it. I'm sorry.
Again, patreon.com/SmashingHeads. Yes, I'm going to plug it every episode because, again, we like making this show. We want to continue to make this show. And so we can't do it without your support because we've been doing it out of pocket for 9 months. And so...
and now the Patreon is the birth of the 9 months. Like, right.
yeah. It's been impregnated in utero for 9 months, and now we birthed
in the uterus,
okay,
if you will.
Now we birthed the Patreon, and we're going to be giving bonus podcast at least 2 a month. We're going to be doing exclusives on Patreon that only you can see on there. Again, check it out. SmashingHeadsPodcast.com has a link to everything that we do, but let's shout it out.
Shout out to our patrons, starting with Ashley C, Baker R. We need some music behind this.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that tonight because it's 1 a.m, but...
All right, well, maybe next week we'll have some music put behind this so it's not just like roll call or something.
Yeah. Well, after the first couple weeks, we'll probably just do the new patrons from here on out.
Gotcha.
But again, it's week 2. We're going to do all of them.
All right, so starting from the top again. Ashley C, Baker R, Brandi H, Brian M, Cassandra D, Connor R, Crystal, Dylan G, JD, Jennifer A, Keri S, Kelvin, Keri G,
CHICO,
Lisa, Logan H, Mikey G, Neil D, Nicole B, Paul S, Rebecca F, Robyn, Saralyn F. I almost said God. I almost messed up Saralyn. I'm sorry. Scott M.
Saralyn's part of the Bloodlines crew.
Shana M. Shaun A. Tori C.
Yeah, again, we appreciate it. We have fun on the Slack. You guys can talk with each other during the episodes. Currently, the way this season is going, we're not able to interact live. But we may start doing... I found out about an app today that some other podcasts use where people can join in and watch you as you watch something else.
Hey, that's fun.
I'm going to check into that because...
We should check into that.
That was always my worry, is copyright stuff. So we're gonna check into that. But again... You know where to find us. SmashingHeadsPodcast.com has all of our links, all of our places to listen to us, Patreon, all that. So you can actually listen right on our website if you want. But we'll be back probably this weekend for Patreon only.
And in the meantime, I'm going to go to a kickboxing class to try to get my dating life together.
With me.
Have a good night, everyone.
See you next week.